Good evening, this is your AI host, Jay. I'm here with the automatically generated Journato evening headlines on October 7, 2022. A crazy story, why a Chinese vase valued at €2,000 sold for €8 million. Europe energy crisis. Italians told to turn thermostats down. Someone will fall victim, insiders reveal elite anguish as Russia's war falters. The Guardian, Kremlin lets state media report some Russian losses in Ukraine, there's a hunt for those responsible. The Independent, Kremlin lets state media tell some truths about Putin's stalling war. Bloomberg, analysis, defeats in Ukraine stoke crisis for Vladimir Putin. Reuters, your Friday briefing. Las Vegas Strip, 2 dead and 6 hurt in knife attack outside casino. Sky News, Las Vegas Strip stabbing, showgirls among victims as suspect arrested. The Telegraph, 2 dead and 8 attacked during knife rampage on the Las Vegas Strip. Daily Mail, security increased at Fremont Street experience following mass stabbing. KTNV 13 Action News Las Vegas stabbings, 2 dead and 6 injured after man stabs group of showgirls outside of casino on the FBI gather sufficient evidence to charge Biden's son Hunter for tax and gun purchase crimes. Sky News, Hunter Biden could be charged with tax crimes. BBC, what has Hunter Biden been accused of, and what comes next? The Independent, federal agents close in on President Biden's son Hunter with tax and gun inquiry. Health workers among dead in Ugandan Ebola outbreak. The Guardian, NHS warned to be vigilant of Ebola as America introduces airport screening. The Telegraph, health workers among dead in Uganda Ebola outbreak as UK agency monitoring new infections. The Independent, CDC, no suspected US cases of Ebola from Sudan strain. Putin turns 70 with a prayer for his health amid war crisis. Easter Island fire causes irreparable damage to famous moai statues. The Guardian, in pictures, Easter Island statues damaged by fire. BBC, Easter Island's sacred moai statues charred in forest fire. The Telegraph, Easter Island statues suffer irreparable damage in fire. Sky News, moai face statues damaged in Easter Island fire. Fox News segment attacking Biden cannabis pardons backfires as doctor praises move. The Independent, first FT, mass US pardon for simple possession of marijuana. Financial Times, Joe Biden's progressive policy on cannabis possession embarrasses inflexible UK politicians. iNews, Biden now knows marijuana laws are racist. It's time to take this policy further. Putting nuclear weapons to use risks escalation, impossible to control and potentially catastrophic, Diana Magnay. Sky News, defeat on the battlefield poses a fatal risk to Putin personally. The Telegraph, as Russia stumbles in Ukraine war, a question looms, could Putin fall? The Washington Post, opinion, nuclear threats in the Russia-Ukraine war. The New York Times, the end of Vladimir Putin is fast approaching. Truss declares Macron a friend as pair forge working relationship. BBC, Liz Truss calls Macron a friend rather than foe at EU summit. Guardian News, Liz Truss needs to be wary of Emmanuel Macron despite new entente cordiale. The Telegraph, Liz Truss meets with Emmanuel Macron at the EU summit in Prague. The Independent, firm friends again, Truss renews bond with Macron. Liz Truss demanded no EU flags at Prague European summit. The Independent, Liz Truss says attending EPC summit is not about moving closer to Europe. Daily Record, EU-friendly chants greet leaders in Prague, except for Orban, who gets booze. Politico Europe, The Guardian view on Liz Truss and Europe, a first fragile step. The Guardian, opinion, does Liz Truss Prague visit signal a post-Brexit path back to Europe? Another teenage girl dead at hands of Iran's security forces, reports claim. The Guardian, Iran protests, Nika Shakarama's mother says her daughter was murdered. BBC, Iran protests, Mahsa Amini did not die by blows to head and limbs, claims coroner. The Independent, mother of dead Iranian schoolgirl accuses authorities of murder. The Guardian, Iranian coroner says Mahsa Amini did not die from blows to body. Bialiatski, who is the Nobel Peace Prize winner. BBC, Nobel Committee calls for release of Peace Prize winner Bialiatski. Guardian News, Belarus, Ukraine and Russia rights activists win Nobel Peace Prize. BBC, Zelensky didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize and that's okay. Bloomberg, Nobel Peace Prize honors Putin's enemies even if it didn't go to Zelensky. This was all for the news. Thanks for listening. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.